this. Does it look good? Maybe here. Thank you, Ani. Thank you, the decision makers, the members of North Shore Congregation Israel, for bestowing upon me this recognition. It is a great honor to be included among the past recipients of this award, the Torah of Life. Elaine S. Frank, Jane R. Perlman, Rabbi Herbert Bronstein, Cantor Richard Cohn, John C. Coleman, Rabbi Stephen Mason and Patty G. Mason, Seraine Blatt. Their commitment and support of this community was indeed exemplary. I am humbled all the more because I was fortunate to know and work with or receive support from each one of them during my tenure here. I learned of the depth of their feelings for and commitment to this community. Thank you for honoring me in this way. I will keep. I was with Rabbi Geffen earlier this week, and I remarked to her that we often do our daily work here in the community, really with no expectation of ever finding out whether it meant anything, but we do it. To hear from so many of you and then to have it recorded this way is a gift that is hard to explain, to have a sense of what the work might have meant to so many of you. Thank you for this. Thank you so much. This week, we study the Torah portion of Shalach Lecha. In it, we encounter the narrative recounting the 12 spies who were sent out to reconnoiter, I love that word, the land. In Numbers 13:23, we read, they reached the Wadi Eshkol and they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes. It had to be borne on a carrying frame by two of them. It was a land flowing with milk and honey. Imagine grapes so full of juice that a cluster would require 2 men to carry it. A land flowing with milk and honey. In essence, the land was bursting with promise and filled with all that one could need. It did not just meet expectations, but exceeded them. Though the report of the majority of the spies did not initially focus on these amazing attributes, Caleb and Joshua shared a different view, one that was filled with their trust of God and their optimism about what lay ahead for the Israelites. As I stand here tonight, after reconnoitering the land, I can report that what I have learned is that this place, NSCI, contains remarkable richness. one that I could not carry alone, one that requires all of us to participate. We are a community that is defined by relationships, by meaning, by learning, and yes, by music. We are a community of deep commitment to Judaism. We are a community that is not content to ensure our own health, but we seek to help those outside in the broader community. We are a community that is not content to rejoice in our successes, but rather seeks to find ways to elevate and inspire each other. We are a community that chooses to engage in the work and the changes that inevitably take place. This evening, I am completing my formal service to this community as your cantor. I would not be here if it were not for many people and a certain amount of serendipity. I would not be here if you, the members of this community, did not accept me, my family, and the efforts that I put forth. As well, any success I have achieved has been largely because of those around me. It might take a village to raise a child, but it takes an entire congregation to support its clergy, its cantor. So this evening, I am filled with gratitude, and as such, there are so many people I'd like to acknowledge and thank. I will do my best not to leave someone out. Thank you to the leadership of NSCI, the presidents under whose leadership I worked, Rob Olian, Judy Wexler, Ron Sonnenthal, Jody Weinberg, Marilyn Perlman, Jeff Echt, and now Anish Shire, and the executive committees and trustees under whom I have worked. You each met the moment, providing this congregation with the leadership necessary to grow and endure. During my time as your cantor, I have been truly blessed to share my various roles with a most extraordinary team of clergy, educators, and professionals. The level of support and confidence in one another and genuine affection for each other made even the most difficult times a bit more manageable. Thank you to all the rabbis here with whom I've shared this sacred work. Rabbi Steve Mason, Rabbi Wendy Geffen, Rabbi Lisa Green, Rabbi Ryan Daniels, and Rabbi Jacob Leisman. The ability for us to share the joys and pains of this work in a genuinely loving and supportive way made it not only possible to do this work, but added a level of depth and meaning for which I will be forever grateful. I will cherish our conversations, debates, respect, and love we shared with each other. Thank you to all the educators and staff of our youth programs who supported my work. Rabbi Judy Spicehandler for her support of my desire to teach every student Torah cantillation, and Dr. Roberta Goodman for seeing the potential in Sela. That Sela could be integrated into the fabric of the school as opposed to just an after-school activity. As well, I am grateful to those who engage our youth, Neil, Ben, Andrea, Sarah, and Elise, and all the wonderful teachers and mechanics, our school youth programs, retreats like the Lasky retreat referred to earlier, and of course, Karav. continue to help secure a strong future for the Jewish community. How fortunate we are to have all of these dedicated educators helping to ensure a thriving Jewish future. Thank you to the executive directors and chief operating officers who worked and work closely with our lay leaders and the clergy to ensure the health of this congregation. Serene, Drew, Esther, Amy, and Todd, and to all the members of the staff who worked to keep everything running smoothly, Joel, Jackie of blessed memory, and Glenn, Susan, Hila, and Mia, Roy, Stuart, Lena, Lisa, Jennifer, and Debbie, Amy, Phyllis, and Ruth. There are so many moving parts to this congregation. You all allow the community to experience the fullness of each experience without worrying about the logistics, the details so critical to the success, to the outcome. To Juan and his team of security officers, a la Brian, the other Brian, Dan, Joanna, Mark, Marty, Mike, Rick, and Bruce, especially in these times, knowing you are here watching out for our safety and well-being allows us to focus more completely on our work. I need to make a special mention to the unsung heroes of NSCI, our entire maintenance team. It should come as no surprise that I am especially indebted to two of our support team, Sarah Duffin. Where is she? To Sarah Duffin. My faithful assistant, and Alfredo Lopez. Is he here? I think Alfredo Lopez is the factotum of NSCI. For those who don't know what that means, it's the jack of all trades. He can do just about anything. It's unbelievable. I have great affection for both of you. I am certain that I would have crashed and burned a long time ago without your unflagging support. When I arrived here, I was blessed to become a link in a chain of rich musical, cantorial tradition, cultivated by talented cantors and supported by wonderful musicians. Over these last 19 years, I was fortunate to work with Cantor Vicki Glicken, Cantor Devorah Avery, Alan Goodis. Paul Vanderweel, 50 years of commitment. Gregory Schifrin, thank you so much. And back there, Christopher Powell. Of these collaborators, it is important to note the significant role that Alan Goodis played in the development of Sela. We learned from each other. Alan became an integral part of our worship team. In Sela, we created what I believe to be a prototype for engagement of our next generation of leaders and musical professionals and otherwise. Future cantors, too. One of my missions here, even before here, I guess, was to create an opportunity for members of our community to give of themselves to support our prayers. I believe we are all blessed and enriched when we share in this sacred work together. I do not see this as diminishing the traditional function of the cantor. as the shliach, as the representative of the congregation in prayer, but rather as an enhancement of that role. This evening we experienced a representation of this idea. All you need to do is look around. Ay. Over the years, we have heard instruments of so varied it almost fills an orchestra, although, no, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to play tuba. I'm sorry. This evening, I am overwhelmed to see so many of you who came back, made it a point to be here, and to give again of yourselves in such a powerful way, helping to create sacred moments for our community and to share that opportunity with me this one last time as your cantor of this congregation. I'm grateful to the members of Shir Kadash. I am certain this group will grow and develop over time, and I am eager to hear how you integrate new members, may it be so, and welcoming back old members to your fold. To those current and former members of Sela, I can't adequately express the depth of meaning of our work together and what it has meant to me, and I believe to this community, to NSCI. My greatest hope is that you take this experience and use it as proof of the critical role that you all have in the Jewish community, now and in the future. My work with you, members of Sela, over these past 15 plus years gives me great hope, especially during these difficult times. I extend a similar message to those students with whom I've studied Torah, chanting, and who chose to bring those gifts back to this community. Post-B'nai Mitzvah students of all ages, my greatest hope is that you will continue to use these gifts to enhance the worship within this community and wherever you might be. Thank you to my partners in the creation of the Kabbalat Shabbat concert series. Jim Stone, Madeline and Harvey Plonsker, and Bobby Takev have supported me in the development of a diverse, exciting, and meaningful series of concerts following Kabbalat Shabbat services 11 to 12 times per year. We optimize the use of this facility, this magnificent facility, and the instruments we have assembled to produce concerts that highlight emerging talents, fine classical musicians, and current performers in the Jewish music world. I have to tell you that I am so excited about the season that awaits you next year. Please make it a point to participate, to be here. You won't be sorry. The other thing about this group, the founders of this series, is that they kept asking for more. More from me and more from you. And you responded. So much so that we will have offerings this coming year that we never could do before. So please mark your calendars and join this wonderful community in an extended Shabbat for the Kabbalat Shabbat concerts. To my family, To my mother and father who are joining me this evening via stream, for nearly 50 years that I led worship, since first as a cantorial soloist, then as a student cantor, and finally as an ordained cantor. Mom and Dad, you were there in every congregation I served, sitting somewhere around maybe the fourth row or so on the cantor side. Early on, my side was over here, so they were over here. Later, it was wherever it was. When I lifted my eyes, they were there. And thank you for being there tonight. I know you are. And Mom, you would have been here if travel was possible. In fact, I can easily visualize you in your seats at home with Kleenex in hand. Me too. My brothers, too, have provided steadfast support throughout my life and career. And I was fortunate that they were able to be here for the Matisyahu concert and celebrate with me during that night. To Lori, my beloved wife, and my children, Rachel and Max. You have each sacrificed so much to allow me the opportunity to accept this sacred calling of service to the Jewish people, and specifically to this congregation, North Shore Congregation, Israel. It would be impossible for me to express the level of gratitude I have for you, Rachel and Max, and especially to you, Lori. I know that my choice to not only follow this path, but also the level of commitment of time and energy that I chose to dedicate to it, left a void at some level for each of you. So indeed, any success or achievements I have attained came directly because of you and your sacrifice. My honors are yours. My successes are your successes. I love you each so much. We are taught in Pirkei Avot 2:14, Rabbi Tarfon used to say, "It is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it." I know I did not finish the work, but I do believe I gave my best to it. This is a bittersweet moment for me. I've been crying all year long. I love being a cantor. I love being your cantor. Yet just as my time as the cantor of this congregation ends, my new status as cantor emeritus begins. Just as the chapter ends, I'm eager to see what the next one has in store for us. My hope and prayer for this community is for you to recognize the great gifts you have to offer, to see your next chapter as one filled with possibility and promise, like those grapes so heavy they had to be borne by two humans, like that land flowing with milk and honey. My prayer is that you continue the work, aspiring to be the light to the nations, performing the mitzvot, making peace where there is conflict, together with one another, and especially with your newest partner, Cantor Ross Woolman. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom.